What do you want from, I guess, future Star Wars projects? Do you like how would you fix Star Wars at this point? I know that's
I'd
kind
bring,
of a vague
I'd bring,
vague
I'd
question.
bring, I'd. It's kind of hard because they've gone so deep with it. Shout out. It's almost to the point where you have to pretty much just redo it. And I'm not saying like completely redo Star Wars. I'm not saying that. Like more of, hey, we're just gonna scrap all this shit. We're just gonna start anew. Um, these are all great stories, but we're gonna have to start something new. Um, I think what I would do is I would give what everybody else wants is Darth Revan.
Ooh.
Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. Um, I would definitely probably start there. I would probably start at the Old Republic and work my way up. Is probably how I would fix Star Wars.
I
But I would
think you
also consult some lore with Lucas. I mean, yes, he does have some ideas there, but we've also gone away and astray from some of his stuff, and look where it got us.
you know
Listen,
I was asked the question the other day of would Lucas ever take over
I don't
Star
want him to
Wars
take
again?
over. I just want to have some of his input.
Or even just like if he came back for like a movie or a TV series or something like that, and he did whatever he wanted, and he could just fucking peace out.
That
I don't think he would,
I don't think
honestly.
he
I
would
mean,
either.
look, I'm not saying I'm not part of the problem here with with how violent Star Wars fans can get,
Right.
as far as the words that we speak, I guess. But I don't think he wants any of that fucking. I don't think he wants any of that pie. You know.
No, I don't think no. I think they contaminated that pie long ago.
So my thing is, I think you guys start at the basic level, and we need. And I thought Filoni, the guy that did the Mandalorian,
Yeah, Checo.
him and Favreau, I thought Filoni was the creative control person for Disney Plus, unless I'm wrong.
I don't know.
We need a Kevin Feige at the helm, and he goes, "Okay, look, we need to have discussions on all these TV shows. These are the 3, 4 TV shows that we have planned. Let's all meet in a room. Let's get our stories together, kind of brief outlines of what those TV shows are going to be like, and then let's do each individual script for the TV series or the movies or whatever, and then let's come back together and make sure that it fucking works together." Okay? I think you need that type of person to really. I think you need that type of person at the controls to make this better, because that was one of the issues with the sequel trilogy. I think it was the biggest issue with the sequel trilogy. Regardless of how you feel about the dialogue and the acting and the characters and whatnot, the biggest issue with the sequel trilogy is the fact they didn't have a fucking plan.
No, it was just loosey goosey.
It was, and we have, and I'll even go a step further. So the Force Awakens happens, and for whatever you will say about the sequel trilogy, I think the Force Awakens is probably the best movie out of the 3. But the fact is that it's basically a New Hope clone,
Yep.
and so it's not very original in that sense. Um, but it seemed like they were on a path there, and then the Last Jedi came in, and Rian Johnson just said, "Yeah, how about we do this instead?"
Right.
And he just did all that fucking bullshit and fucked with it, and then kind of painted them into a corner. I mean, when the Last Jedi happened, I mean, how are they supposed to fucking continue that story? Snoke was dead. Like, okay, like he just fucking died all willy nilly, and then they fucking tore down what the Jedi means, and Luke's fucking throwing the lightsaber and shit like that, right? So to me, they have to get on the same page. And that kind of goes back to the whole shitting on the lore and stuff like that. It's just characters not acting like themselves,
No.
and
Mm-mm.
and and like I said, like Rian Johnson. he basically says anybody can be a Jedi, essentially.
Yeah,
Anybody can have the
not
Force.
how that works. I mean, anybody can have the Force, yes. If you are tuned to it, yes. You can't just poof, have the Force, yeah. No.
The same thing kind of happens in the Acolyte. Spoilers for the Acolyte. You're probably not going to watch it, are you?
No.
Okay. Spoilers for the Acolyte. Skip ahead like 30 seconds. They do like some Force pregnancy shit, and the two twins are part of the Force. Like, they weren't conceived naturally. So it's the same way that Anakin was conceived, by the Force. So it's like, okay, well, now Anakin's not the chosen one. Like, that's the kind of the vibes that you're giving us, is the fact that you're making it less significant.
It's getting all over it.
Exactly. So you need an outline, you need a plan going forward. Like Mandalorian. Okay, look, this is what season 1 could look like. If we have a season 2, what does that look like? Okay,
Right.
and what does a 3 look like? Give me a basic outline. I don't need to know every character arc or anything like that, but like, where does the main beats, where does the main story go? And I think that's what Star Wars needs more than anything. We need someone that can control all of it and make decisions. And by someone control it, I mean someone not Kathleen Kennedy, because we have seen her track record so far.
And
It has not been good.
It's been garbage. You know who'd be a good one is the guy who voiced Darth Maul in the animated series.
Oh,
I can't think of his name.
Sam Witwer?
Yes.
Whitmer?
Yes.
The guy that was Doomsday in
Yes.
Smallville?
No, indeed. He is a big old nerd with that. And I think he would do a really good job about it.
And you also need to bring in some fans.
Right.
Like, don't just bring in Joe Schmo off the street just because he fucking wrote one episode of this TV show that you never fucking heard of before and you can buy him for cheap. Don't fucking just do that.
No.
Go get a fan. I promise you, there are fans out there that can write really good stuff. You remember that Darth Maul short film?
Yes.
That shit was some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen.
Right.
And it's fucking, what, 10 minutes long?
Yeah. I've seen
And
some
fan-made.
homemade fucking Star Wars films of, forgot what show, I don't know if you were watching it, but I can't think of the name of it, but they had a big fight scene that they all personally did in Star Wars. Sith and his apprentice showed up against like 6 or 7 different Jedi, and he wiped the floor on all of them except for one. I mean, shit, even look at the Old Republic video games. The cinema scenes in that, fucking fantastic. I mean, look at the Twin Brothers. You ever seen those cinema scenes of the Twin Brothers of the Old Republic?
Dude, it's been so long.
Dude, those things are just so good. And it's in the war, in the middle of the war. The father pretty much just doesn't say anything. But he has twin boys. They're both in the war. One gets more hurt than the other, but he ends up turning into a Sith and tries to kill the dad, ends up killing his brother, and that's when his dad acknowledges him. Like, the story is there. You just have to write it the right way.
That is key.
I mean, that's all it is. Like, I don't care if you throw female character, lead character. I don't give a shit. Make the story good, make it go somewhere, and respect the lore. That's it.
That's all we ask for.
I don't care. I care less. That's it.
So at this point, I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to do Star Wars right over the next 3 or 4 years, you know? I mean, we have that Rey film coming out, and I'm not opposed to Rey having another story. I mean, we've talked about it before on the podcast when it originally got announced. Like, I'm not opposed to the idea, but you're gonna have to do a little bit more legwork than what you fucking did in the sequel trilogy. Okay, you're gonna have to fucking do some shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, even with her being the main protagonist in the sequel trilogy, I mean, did we really care about her as a character? I don't think we did.
Nope. No,
we didn't.
Mm-mm.
We didn't fall in love with any of those characters in the sequel trilogy.
No. No, because they were all
except
over.
Kylo Ren.
They were
Except Kylo Ren.
all
I
over
will
the
I will I will die on this hill that I really enjoyed Kylo Ren in that series, and I think they should have made him the main protagonist / antagonist.
I agree. I think that would have been awesome.
Because he came back around at the very end, kind of like Darth Vader, but I think the way they were going about it, it just seemed like he was going to be the main guy the entire time. And I wish what they would have done was Kylo Ren started on the dark side, Rey started on the light side, on the light side, right?
Swapsies?
And they fucking swapped for the final movie.
Oh yeah,
that would have been fucking cool, and that would have been a fucking like a female villain.
That would have been a fucking I am your father
dope.
moment. That's what it would have been.
That would have been fucking great. Would have been great.
Same.
But they didn't fucking do that. They made it seem like that was the route it was going.
Yep.
But they didn't. So I think I would have liked that a lot better.
I agree.
As far as like the next few years, I don't know. They need to stay away from the Skywalker shit altogether. But when they do go away from the Star Wars, the Skywalker shit, we get the Acolyte. So I don't know, man. It's just there's no hope right now. There's no hope right now.
No.
I want Star Wars to be so good, but it's just not at this point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Well, let us know down in the comments below, guys, what you think about Star Wars right now and what they need to right the ship, what we need to do to make Star Wars better again. Are we right? Are we wrong? Let us know down below.